In this, our last meeting before Thanksgiving, let's sing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining the Rotary Club of Tulsa for lunch today. We are so happy that you are here, and we look forward to seeing you again the week after next, because I think we're off next week. I'll be doing the visitor introductions today. I'll mention the host Rotarian and the guest name. If you'll please rise when your name is called and be seated. We'll have a round of applause when that's over, and then we'll recognize some visiting Rotarians. I will tell you that today I've had the most unique phonetic challenge I've had since I've done visitor introductions. You'll see that in just a moment. President Becky has two guests today. She has Pete Isnick and Mark Burton. Thank you for joining us. We have a guest by the name of Taylor Brown. We have Aaron Yoshi has brought Kalia Clark. Thank you for coming. Brendan Melancon brought Bruce Belsley today. Many of you know Bruce. We're glad to have you as a guest here, and Nancy as well. Roger Ramsire brought Jim Morgan to join us today. Thank you, Roger. Bob Wearuth has a guest, Stephen Hall. Where you at, Stephen? There you are. Good to see you. Sandy Siegfried brought Joanne Schaub today. Thank you for coming. Mr. Jay Foley brought a Nita Foley who may be related to him. Possibly. Very good. Sort of an honorable mention today, our host Rotarian Jason George has with him Andy Vu, our exchange student. Thank you for coming, Andy. Good to see you. Jason, thanks for your work. Terry Ventris brought Katrina Sweet with her today. Thank you for coming. Big hugs, big hugs. There you go.
CJ is interested in youth exchange, so perhaps we could talk with some folks from your club after.
Debbie Stamps has a guest, Melissa McFall. Thank you for coming. Mr. Greg Keck, dealer in Economy Automobiles, has brought Tim Hensley with him today. And we have a few visiting Rotarians. We have, well, before we do that, my phonetic challenge is this gentleman who's standing up, and you'll have to help me, Obum Okabum. Thank you for coming. We're glad to have you here today. And our visiting Rotarians include Ben Gurrell. Hi, Ben. And Jane Lowe, who's our immediate past district governor. Jane, nice to have you here. Thank you all for coming today.
At this time, would Brenda Melancon come forward, as well as Jerry Barrientos and Karen McCannell? Please come to the front of the stage if you would. Get up here, you little elf. Well, I know that you know we have amazing members in our club, but I just had to highlight 3 because it just couldn't go without saying. These women are doing amazing things, not just in our club, which we know, but also all around the community, and in fact, they've been recognized for it. So Brenda Melancon just got recognized for the Top Leadership Tulsa Award with the Paragon Award. Karen McCannell got one of those once-in-a-lifetime awards from Leadership Tulsa that they don't even give out every year. In fact, I think they've only given 3 to date that I know of. And that one that she received was the Leadership Tulsa Harold Gibbons Heart of LT Award. Anything with heart in it, I can see why you got it, and anyone that knows you. And Jerry Barrientos, anyone that knows Jerry, this is fitting as well. She received the Tulsa Chamber Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Congratulations, ladies. We are so honored to have you in our club and out there running the world. So good job, you guys. I'd like to give special thanks to this week's meeting sponsors, Chris McCown with Small & Associates, Terry Lawson with Vision Source Tulsa, James Adair with Claude Neon Federal, and Ed Monette with Monette & Associates. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you. After the program today, we have several committee meetings, so listen up. Shop with a Cop will meet in room 231. Foundation grants will meet in room 232. Programs will meet in room 233, and Partners in Education will meet in room 234. We have a lot going on, and you guys are participating at astounding numbers, so we appreciate everything you're doing. And as a little bit of a break in upcoming programs, next Wednesday, November 27th, we will not be having our regularly scheduled program, so you can spend time with your family. But I heard Ed Monette has a big house, so I say we just all meet there for lunch. And is that okay, Ed? You cooking? Okay, cool. Anyway, so we'll be back, though, on December 4th with Hogan Assessments, who is right here located. They are headquartered right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they do work around the world. You will not want to miss their amazing presentation on the 4th whenever we get back together. Also on the 4th is our annual election. Absentee ballots are available on request from Tina and must be cast between the last Wednesday in November and the first Wednesday in December. We will hold elections on the 4th for anyone that is here. This will be for the director at large. So many of you, if you haven't been on the board or don't know how that works, we have some positions that are appointed by the president, and then we also have some that are appointed by you, the membership, and that is called the director at large. Those are 3-year terms. And up for the candidates this year are Forrest Cameron, Lane Dolly, and Katie Johnson. And you can't go wrong on any of those, so that's going to be a hard vote. But please be sure to be here on December 4th so you can cast your ballot. At this time, I would like to welcome to the side mic past District Governor Jane Lowe for a special presentation.
Thank you very much, Becky, and I appreciate you giving me a few seconds to make this announcement and this presentation. It is great to be back here at the Rotary Club of Tulsa, and it gives me such a great feeling, actually, to be able to present to your immediate past president, Hannibal Johnson, a certificate from Rotary International on the polio giving that your club did. Rotary International gives certificates to all the clubs that donate more than $1,500 to polio, and you guys definitely surpassed that. So congratulations, Hannibal, on a great year, and thank you to all of your members for helping eradicate this horrible disease.
Thank you, Jane. At this time, we have another side mic announcement. Brian Jackson and the Elves Shop with a Cop.
Well, hello, fellow Rotarians. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm Elphus. Let's get this straight. Elphus, that's right. And we've got the Shop with the Cop Elves. Let's give it up for the Shop with the Cop Elves, everybody. That's right. Well, there's an important date, December 7th. That's Saturday. And that's our Shop with a Cop, a legacy program here at the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Now, it's so important. The Celia Clinton. Let's think about those little ones, little babies there at Celia Clinton. They need some help. You know, Christmas time, and we can do that. We do it every year with this Rotary Club, and that's thanks to your generosity and the volunteers that make it happen. And so we've got some elves here. You got Eddie the elf. He's a new one. You got Tiffany the elf. We got John the elf. We got Mike the elf. Oh, there's another Mike the elf and Karen the elf. Now, they're all going to be there. You can be there, too. On each one of your tables there, you've got a gift, all right? Now, make that gift possible by putting your name, sign up, be a volunteer, and we'll see you December 7th. That's a Saturday at Target, all right? So, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see you.
That is great. While they're taking that photo, I want to go back because I made myself a note and then I forgot to mention this. But we have a lot of amazing, creative, apparently, Rotarians amongst us. And one of those is Mark Burton. He's actually a new member that's coming in to join us. And I wanted to tell you guys something that I don't know if you know, if you're a new member, but we have a program called Rotary Global Rewards, and that is how you can make sure and stay in contact with your other Rotarians and their businesses. And I wanted to make sure that you knew, the flowers that we gave the ladies today were from Miss DeHaven's, which has been here forever, but Mark owns Miss DeHaven's, and when I went in and said, well, these are from my Rotary Club, and they said, oh, great, we give 20% discount to Rotarians. So I just wanted to pass that along and make sure that you guys do know to use that Rotary Global Rewards, because that's a good way to do business with your fellow Rotarians. And thank you for that discount, Mark. I appreciate that. All right, and another side mic announcement, Ed Monette with bell ringing.
Before we make our announcement, Chuck, it's okay. You will get an award somewhere soon. It's been a while. So, and I was so hoping Phil Lakin would be here, our resident Baylor fan, but I guess I'll leave that out. You guys are doing a great job signing up for the Salvation Army bell ringing, which is December 5th, 2 days before Shop with the Cop. And to tell you more about why we do that is Mark Harwell.
Thank you so much, Ed and President Becky. Another incredible tradition of the Rotary Club of Tulsa is bell ringing, and you are doing incredible good through your participation in that effort. So it helps really in two ways. One is during Christmas, of course. This Christmas we're serving about 6,400 children, deserving youth throughout the area, and then also through the Red Kettle campaign you're supporting year-round programs the Salvation Army offers to families who are struggling, youth, helping them prepare for great futures through our 5 Boys and Girls Clubs, and then also helping those who are experiencing homelessness. So know that as you sign up and ring, know that you're doing incredible good in your community, and it continues to be a wonderful tradition. I also want to invite Rotarians. We have a little gathering we do periodically called Behind the Red Shield. And our next one of those is coming up. It's a little close to Christmas, but December the 18th, a Thursday afternoon, I believe, at 5:30, we hold a fairly short just time of sharing some refreshments. And this particular Behind the Red Shield will be at the Salvation Army's Joy Center. So if you'd like to see a little bit more about what is made possible by those donations in the Red Kettle, come join us for that. Let me know. I'll be happy to give you some more information on that. And we'd love to see you and show you the Joy Center and all this work that's taking place to serve families in our area in need. God bless you.
Thank you, Mark and Ed. And next up, we have Cindy Salter to tell us about our next Thirsty Thursday.
Hello. Tomorrow night will be our Thirsty Thursday, and we're going to have it at the Tulsa Club Hotel. And it starts at 5:30, and you can stay as long as you want. If you don't know where the Tulsa Club Hotel is at 115 East 5th Street. So I encourage the new Rotarians to come so we can meet you. And there's a bunch of you here that have been here longer than I have that I haven't met. So I would love for you to come and mingle with us. So I hope to see you tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. And next up is Monica Martin with a Rhythm and Brews update.
Thank you. So we're excited to share with you that we had over 2,000 people at the Rhythm and Brews event, and our goal was to at least get 1,000, and to surpass that to over 2+, we are beyond thrilled because Becky and I really wanted this event to be about awareness about who we are and what we do in our community, and I think we knocked that out of the park, literally. And we made some monies for our foundation. I just can't give you the total yet because we're waiting on Gathering Place to give us their final number. So hopefully I'll be able to share that information with you soon. At this time, I'd like the Rhythm and Brews committee members to all please stand. I'd like to have you all recognize them. They helped tremendously with this huge event, and thank you. Becky and I couldn't have done it without you. Dell Dreyer, I know you're here. Will you please come up? Lynette, will you join us? Dell, you are the winner of the ticket sale contest that Becky and I pitched to the club, and you're the winner, so Lynette's here to tell you what you won.
Maybe. See, I'm short like those other women that came up here when you don't have to be tall to be mighty. So, Dell, hey, you're winning our happy place at the lake on Monkey Island. Yes, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that we are giving, and you can even, there's only one blackout date, and that's July the 4th. But guess what? Memorial and Labor Day is not a blackout date. So please bring you and your dear sweet wife and maybe another couple. Come enjoy for a weekend. It's fully furnished. We have fresh sheets and we do. My husband cleans them just for you. We have towels. We have robes, but more importantly, we have a view and fish. Do you fish? Sometimes. Okay, we have great fishing, golf right around the corner. I have everything in this packet for you, and I am so, so pleased and honored that it was you that received this. So congratulations and thank you.
So thank you, Tina. Put a quick video together for us of photos of the event. So everyone please check out the screen.
What a fun day that was. As you can see, there was a lot of rhythm and there was a lot of brews. And I saw several of you guys later in the day, and I think that you found the brews. And so that was having a good time for sure. One of my favorite things, that if you weren't there that day, where you saw everyone walking up the boathouse steps. So we had different entertainers playing different things all day. And one of the entertainers was the Friendship Choir. And they had sung a couple of songs a cappella. And then they broke into When the Saints Go Marching In and bring out the tuba and everything. And so we all followed them upstairs to go to the brunch. So that's what was happening during that. So it was just a really cool moment and just a great day. And we're just so thankful for everybody who participated, who came and everything. And just what a great time. So thank you to everyone involved. I get the privilege of introducing our speaker today. Erin Belsley is Executive Director of Tulsa Remote, a unique talent recruitment initiative of George Kaiser Family Foundation, which saw 10,000 plus applications from over 150 countries and all 50 states in its inaugural years, trying to come to little old Tulsa, Oklahoma. A Tulsa native, Erin attended public school in Tulsa and graduated with honors from the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston. After graduation, Erin worked in digital marketing and production for Universal Music Group in NYC during one of the most transformative times in the digital music revolution. He then spent 8 years in California working for Apple at iTunes, where he eventually became head of global catalog for the iTunes Movie Store. Nearly 15 years after leaving his hometown, Erin returned to Tulsa in 2017, thank goodness, with a desire to make a positive impact in the city he was born. Please welcome Erin Belsley.
Thank you all. That's a pretty amazing introduction. I really appreciate it. A lot of people ask me why I moved back to Tulsa, and I look across this room and I think the answer is pretty clear. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. Thank you so much for inviting my parents to come and watch me as well. No, yeah, exactly. No pressure. Nothing like bringing the people that raised you into the front table when you present for the first time in Tulsa. So I've been really lucky to travel across the world now, talking about Tulsa Remote and what's happening here in this city. And I got to tell you, there's nothing more rewarding than being able to talk about it in your hometown. With the people that help you make it possible. So a year ago, November, so actually a year ago last week, we launched an initiative to attract remote workers to Tulsa. $10,000 to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. It started off as a crazy experiment of George Kaiser Family Foundation, a nearly $4 billion foundation based here in Tulsa, whose mission is to make the city the best place for a child to be born, grow, and succeed. Quickly became a little bit more than just an experiment. After over $2.5 billion in reach and 10,000 applications in less than 10 weeks from every country imaginable. I mean, we didn't get anybody from North Korea, unfortunately. But other than that, we pretty much got everyone. We ended up closing it in 10 weeks because it was going so quickly. We're still getting 125 applications a day when we closed it down. We needed time to go through them. We knew we had more than just an experiment. So what made it so successful? I can tell you right now, it was not the $10,000. So as President Becky mentioned, I didn't get to choose Tulsa. Tulsa chose me. I was born and raised here, and after attending public high school, I graduated from Booker T. Washington. I, like many kids across the country, left the state to go to college. For me, that was Boston. I traveled from Tulsa, Oklahoma, all the way to Boston, Massachusetts, attended Berklee, and after Berklee, I graduated and got my first job at Universal Music Group, the largest record label in the world in New York City. After a few years at Universal, I got the opportunity to move out to San Francisco and work at Apple iTunes, which was a dream come true. And being part of a company like Apple during its historic growth was nothing short of absolutely incredible. With that said, 8 years later, I decided to branch off and start consulting on my own. So I quit my job and I started traveling quite a bit for work. Almost all of my clients were based in LA. So I was living in San Francisco, but flying down to LA almost every week. So After a year of living in San Francisco and traveling to LA every week, I started asking myself, now why am I living in the most expensive city in the US when my family isn't here and my job doesn't require me to? One thing that I knew for sure was that I didn't want to move to LA. I like the city, don't get me wrong, but the idea at 37 years old of starting over again in a huge city for a fourth time seemed exhausting. And the reality is that I'm not the only one. The squeeze of a major city is very real and getting more intense every year. Countless times when I was living in San Francisco, people would talk about, oh, I'm leaving the city. I'm going to move to Portland or Denver or Austin. There's like a secret list that everybody knows. One city that was never on that list, Tulsa. For many people who lived on the coastal cities that I lived in, I was the first person they had met from Oklahoma, let alone Tulsa. And it always gave me an amazing opportunity to tell them about how much I loved my hometown. They were always surprised. But about 15 years ago, as you all know, starting pretty much right after I left, thank you very much, something changed in Tulsa. The leaders in the city started working to make this place a much more vibrant and exciting city for young professionals to move to. There were city-driven efforts like the ballpark in the Greenwood District, to an arena in downtown that is consistently ranked top in the nation. I think just yesterday it was announced again that it was ranked top in the nation, which is just incredible. There are also initiatives of George Kaiser Family Foundation, from Guthrie Green, a geothermal park in the middle of the Arts District that it helped revitalize, to obviously our pride and joy gathering place, the $465 million park that was just rated this year as US Today's best new attraction in America. And I got to see all of this happening when I'd come back for holidays or family events. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for not leaving. So, in 2017, I packed my bags and moved all the way back to Tulsa. But when you tell people that you're leaving San Francisco for Tulsa, they all seem to have the same question. Why? Right? They don't ask that question when you say that you're moving to Austin or to Portland or to Denver. So, my goal became to get them to stop asking why and start asking why not. I believed that if people took a serious look at the city, they would see what makes it so special. So we started thinking about ways to introduce the city to them. What if people came and lived here for a year? Would they stay longer? We believed that the answer was absolutely. Who in the world has that kind of flexibility to pick up and move to a city for a year? Remote workers. So remote workers are fully employed individuals that have the flexibility to work from wherever. Most of the time, all they need is a computer, an internet connection, a phone, and access to an airport nearby. And it's also an extremely fast-growing part of the US economy. Over 4 million per a recent CNBC report. And they're incredibly successful. A different CNBC report just said that 1 in 4 remote workers make 6 figures. It's dramatically different than a typical office worker. So we already knew that people wanted to move out of major cities. The numbers are very clear. And all you have to do is go to LA or San Francisco or New York and spend some time to hear somebody talk about wanting to leave the city. So if these individuals have the flexibility to leave, why haven't they? Well, moving sucks. This is actually my U-Haul outside of my apartment in San Francisco. It took us 2 days to pack up my apartment to move it back here. Moving is really tough, and it's expensive. Even if you're moving into a community where the cost of living is lower, you still have to get there. But the real complications come after you get to a city. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to work? Where am I going to get my hair cut? Where am I going to get good tacos? I have a 2007 Nissan Maxima. Who's going to work on that? But most importantly, how am I going to meet people? Are they going to be welcoming? Is everybody going to be different than me? Are they going to think differently than me? So we built a program to remove all the barriers that we possibly could to get people to move to Tulsa. Yes, $10,000 got people's attention, but the talented people that everybody's trying to attract are not going to pick up their lives and move across the country for it, especially after moving costs and taxes. But it does remove risk. We helped in other ways. We showed them where they'd work. We partnered with 36 Degrees North, the co-working space downtown, and provided memberships for each of the participants. We showed them where they'd live. We've partnered with property management companies across the city who also offer additional incentives for the Tulsa Remote participants. We promised community development opportunities, getting these individuals connected to the existing citizens and organizations that make this city so special. And we also provided connection opportunities with other Tulsa Remote participants, providing a sense of belonging. Overwhelmingly, the community integration was the reason people ultimately applied to Tulsa Remote, and it's the reason they moved. People move to Los Angeles all the time, and it's like a tiny drop in a puddle. But maybe with this Tulsa Remote program, myself and other members of our cohort can come in and have a really big positive impact in the city. That would be pretty cool. That happens to be Lily Thompson, who is a Harlem Globetrotter, who moved here through the program. Coming from New York City, where you're just an anonymous 1 in 8.6 million, I was looking for a place where I could be part of something greater, a place where I could have a positive impact in the community. Community is so important, but it's not just about providing a community. You have to provide the community that these talented individuals are looking for. One of the last questions in the application process for Tulsa Remote was a real basic one. I don't know if you can read it. You probably can't read it here, sorry. What's your biggest question about Tulsa? Gave us a lot of insight into the individuals who were applying. Sure, we got questions about tornadoes, internet speeds, and sushi. Yes, we have sushi, of course, and we've got gigabit internet, and, you know, I told everybody that tornadoes weren't that bad, and then they all moved here, and last year it was pretty bad. There was a big group of people that moved about 2 weeks before we had the tornado quakes and flooding. Of course, a 30-year flood happens right after we move everybody here. But the biggest question by far was, how diverse is Tulsa? How inclusive is Tulsa? This question came in multiple different ways. You know, as a woman of color, will I be the only one? I'm LGBTQ+. Will I be accepted in Tulsa? I know Oklahoma is a red state, but will I be surrounded by only conservatives? The talented individuals that every state is trying to attract, is fighting to attract, wants to be part of a diverse, inclusive, and mostly progressive community looking to move forward. The questions that these individuals asked during the application process gave us a chance to have vulnerable and honest conversations with them during the interview process and when they came. Yes, Tulsa is a diverse place, but we haven't always been intentional about inclusion. There are incredibly important conversations happening right now in the city that need your voice. Yes, the LGBTQ+ community in Tulsa is strong. We have the only Pride Street in the region and one of the largest equality centers in the world. But there are still very few legal protections at a state level. Come help us fix that. Tulsa is becoming a purple community. There are people who have all different types of beliefs and opinions. You'll find your group, you'll be a welcomed addition, and your vote will matter. We want individuals who are just excited about what they can give to a community as what they can give. Tulsa is growing, and it's not a utopia. There are still tons of challenges that we have, but it's also a place where the hard work you put in leads to tangible results quickly. And I bet everybody in this room can attest to that. So we're looking for individuals who are excited to be part of the continued growth of the city and to ensure that it grows in the right direction. And I can tell you without question that those are the types of people that we brought in this first year. You're going to hear from Oboom in a little bit, and he doesn't even know that I put his picture up here. This is Oboom at 36 Degrees North, presenting his debate team that he volunteer coaches of an underprivileged school. Nobody asked him to do that, but it was something that he cared about and he chose to do. So the participants of our first year that I've been talking about, we invited about 100. We were originally going to do 20 or 25, but after 10,000, we felt like the best thing that we could do for the city was to increase that number. Now, there were so many more really talented individuals, but we wanted to be responsible to the community. And we didn't want to bring in too many that we couldn't manage and that would overflow the community. So I think we did a good one, a good number. Not everybody moved. Life happens, from job losses to promotions that require people to move to other communities to, unfortunately, divorces or even deaths in the family that prevented people to move. But all in all, 75 people will be participating in this first year. But they're not the only ones that move. They're married. They have partners. They have family. Well over 100 people moved to Tulsa through Tulsa Remote for the first year when you consider all of those different aspects. How's it going? Is a question I get a lot. Are these people going to stay? Well, the feedback so far has been incredibly positive. Taking a leap of faith to move to Tulsa was one of the best decisions I've ever made. The community has been so welcoming and has quickly made Tulsa feel like home. It's been almost 6 months and I couldn't be happier about my decision to move here. 5 months ago, we Marie Kondoed everything, packed up our wiener dog, and drove across the country. It's called Tulsa Remote, and before you guys say, Tulsa, why? It's actually way cooler than you'd expect. I don't think every single person who moves to this program is going to stay, but I think the vast majority will. Now, the economic impact is still being figured out, still being gauged, but it's very clear that it's been extremely positive. They're bringing with them their jobs. They're not taking jobs from anybody. They're adding jobs to the community, and they're representing really amazing companies at that, and incredible skill sets. They're also spending far more than $10,000 a year within the community. The average income is extremely high, far higher than the average income of Tulsa. They're also creating jobs. I'm aware of at least 4 jobs that have been created in Tulsa since we launched this program, because they're representing remote companies that actively hire remote workers. Every single time a company goes to a new state, they have to set up tax rules in that state. And there are plenty of companies that had never set up Oklahoma. Now we're on that drop-down list, which is pretty exciting. But they're investing in Tulsa in other ways. This number is outdated. Just this week, 2 more houses have been purchased. 14 houses have been purchased by Tulsa Remote participants so far. So I think that answers whether or not they're committed to staying in Tulsa. Not just because of the $10,000, not just because of the program, but because of the community members that they've met since they've been here. Now, those people who don't stay will go off to other communities, but they'll stay advocates and ambassadors of this city. The ones that do choose to stay will involve in future programs. They've become Tulsans. And they know better than anybody what it's like to make the transition. I love seeing all these pictures because these are individuals that have come through as cohorts, but have become really, truly friends. And I think they've become truly friends to a lot of people within the community. So there's a question that I get a lot about where do we go from now? Well, this fall, October 29th, we launched Remote 2020. And this year, we decided to expand it to 250 individuals. But as we saw last year, far more people are going to move through the program than just the 250. They're going to bring their partners and their kids. And honestly, their dogs and cats. These people love their animals. It's pretty incredible. We had over 10,000 people sign up for our newsletter after we closed the application to get notified. Right? We're only a few weeks in, and we've already received 4,000 applications this year. We're going to receive quite a bit more. But the quality has just been unbelievably exceptional. So these individuals that we brought in this last year are going to help us facilitate the move for all of these other individuals. And they're creating a self-sustaining ecosystem that has so much more opportunity for growth than $10,000 per participant. It's a really exciting time to be part of this program. We've already scheduled 500 video interviews. So maybe take that away. It's not that exciting of a time to be part of this program. We have 500 video interviews scheduled between now and Christmas, and so our team is extremely busy. I get another question quite a bit. Should other cities do the same? Almost every week, a community wants to reach out and talk about this, because this has been seen by a lot of individuals as an extraordinarily creative economic development tool. And the short answer is maybe. Tulsa is an interesting place. It's a special place. So I ask people questions that are important. Have the leaders of your community been working diligently to create the kind of community that attracts the workers of today and tomorrow? Is your community having the difficult conversations about inclusion? Are they working to make the community accessible to all? Do you have the resources to support the individuals after they arrive? Because it's not just about attracting them and getting them to Tulsa. It's about ensuring that they get connected and involved in a meaningful way within your community. If the answer is yes, then go for it. I think Tulsa kind of has a leg up, though. You know, there's something really special happening in my hometown, and I'm extraordinarily grateful to be a part of it. Tulsa Remote and $10,000 got these individuals' attention. But it's the Tulsa community, it's you all, that are going to help them choose whether or not they stay. And I'm betting they're going to stay. So thank you all very much. So I want to invite two of my cohort members up to the stage with me, Taylor and Obum. You know, you can hear it from me, but it means a lot more, I think, if you hear it from two people who chose to pick up their lives and move to Tulsa. So I'm going to hand it off to Taylor first.
Hello. Thank you all for having us here today. Yeah, my wife and I, we could live anywhere. And I work for a company called You Need a Budget that is a fully remote company. We have about 100 employees that are based all over the U.S. and some in other countries all over the world. And it's been that way. The company's been running. I was employee number 1 or 2, so it's been that way for about 10 years, 12 years, something like that. And so I'm in a company that's filled with other people that could also live anywhere they want to live. My wife is from Argentina. She has her Italian passport as well. So between those 3 passports, we could live in a lot of places. And we experimented with that for a while. A number of years ago, before we had any kids, we have an awesome 2-year-old now. We traveled nomadically for about a year and a half after she studied in Italy, and we did experiment with living overseas for a while. Then we traveled nomadically for about a year and a half, lived in a lot of Airbnbs. We tried all sorts of things. And we decided when we were coming back to the States that we would city shop for a while and figure out where we were going to settle down. I'd lived in Austin before that for about 15 years or so. And in the end, and my family's in Dallas, in the end, we settled on Austin because, well, 1, it's a good town, and then 2, that's where our friends were. It made sense. And so that's where we were for the past few years. And then when we had our son, we started looking around at the house that we'd settled in, the neighborhood we'd settled in. And as y'all know, kids change everything. And the reasons that we'd picked that house and how urban it was and how close to the things that we wanted it to be close to and all of that didn't matter nearly as much. Our kid wasn't going to ride his bike on the street that we lived on. We weren't going to meet other kids his age down the street. There were a lot of things that we were looking for in a community that weren't present. And then on the community at large as well, there were a number of things. I went to a couple of civic meetings or community meetings for our neighborhood, and the message, without going into the details, was kind of like, everything's fine, trust us, we've got this figured out. And the neighborhood was saying, no, 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 this is not fine. Things aren't going the way that we want it to go. But it was a beginning of a feeling of disenfranchisement at the same time. So a lot of things were pushing us to look elsewhere and figure out, did we really make the best decision that we could in light of the fact that we have our kid? And so we started looking around at other places, and Tulsa Remote came up, and I mentioned it to my wife. I said, oh, some people at work just told me that there's this program. And I threw it out in passing, and I knew we weren't moving to Tulsa. And I knew that she would know we're not moving to Tulsa, and she surprised me, and she said, we should apply for that. And I was like, well, I don't really see the point. And I've been in Texas all my life. I'd never been to Tulsa before, but I was pretty convinced that it was not the place for us. And so, based on absolutely nothing. So we applied for it, and then we had the video interview, and Susie Bogle was our representative in Tulsa Remote. She was amazing. She was a fantastic representation of the city and already extremely welcoming. That actually got our attention. And then they said, well, we'll show you Tulsa if you want to come out and see it. And we did, and we were blown away by it. I mean, the people in the Tulsa Remote program were obviously welcoming, but the other Tulsans that we met were just as welcoming, and that was a big surprise to us. I think people in the South are friendly. I think people in Texas and Austin are friendly people. As a rule, I think Tulsans take it to a new level. Everybody that I would tell were considering moving here. They were like, oh, come on, this is great. They were proud of Tulsa in a way that was so exciting. And that pride extended, as Aaron said, no one moves for the $10,000. It does remove risk. It certainly got our attention. But once we got here, the community had to be welcoming too, right? It's one thing to create a group of people that tell you that the city wants you here, but it's another thing to actually meet the people that do. And it made a big impression on us. On the political or civic side of things too, shortly after we got here, there was an organized meeting where we got to see the mayor speak with all of his staff about all of the initiatives they're working on right now. And it was an apolitical meeting. They talked about what they're working on, but the underlying message was, we want to see Tulsa succeed. We got to go to the George Kaiser Family Foundation event the other evening where they were introducing Tulsa Remote folks to the people over there that are working to improve Tulsa. And again, that was the exact same message was, we want to see Tulsa succeed. And we arrived at a time where I feel like the fruits of those efforts for the past, as you said, 10 or 15 years, I don't know what it's been like, but everybody that I talk to is like, this place has undergone a transformation, and I believe it. And so the welcoming that we've felt is real. And yeah, we've only been here for 3 months now, but we're one of the two people that, or one of the two new people that just bought a house. So yeah, we're here to stay, and I appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, boom.
All right, thank you guys for having me. We only have a couple minutes left. So, we've said a lot of things today, but I just want to also reiterate. And for me, I moved here from California. I actually grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. But I ran away from the Midwest about a decade ago, looking, what I thought would be a better life and better people. And I ran to California looking for the new life. And there was a lot of things in California that didn't sit right in my heart. The people, some of the morals and values, and I didn't feel connected. Not to say California's a terrible place, but for me, I was always looking for something more. And as I got really sick in 2015, so as I'm on my deathbed, begging God to keep me here, and I'm not done with my purpose yet. So I was asking God, I didn't know what it was, but I was asking God, please keep me here. And so fast forward to last year, I'm looking online and I see the Tulsa Remote, and I said, oh, I'm a remote worker, I'm interested in this. And I asked my wife, she was on the bed, I said, is Oklahoma somewhere we can consider? I won't apply if you don't want to go there. And she said, and she's lived in California her whole life, born and raised. And she said, you know what, give it a try, we'll see. So if she had said no, I would never even have given it a second thought, but she said yes, and we are here now. And so as soon as we got here, we jumped right into the community, and that's something that I love about Tulsa, is the community accepts you right away. They bring you in, and they connect you to whoever you need to be connected to. If you came to Tulsa remote program and told them, I want to be a rodeo clown, you best believe Tulsa will find a way for you to find all the rodeo clowns around Tulsa and in the whole area. The community is fantastic, and I've joined a lot of nonprofit communities. I started a nonprofit here as well called the Show Me Shoes Foundation because I believe in this town and I believe that they can help me achieve success with it. I've joined Leadership Tulsa with the New Voices 11 program. I'm a board intern on CAP Tulsa, so I have a lot of things I'm doing, and as Aaron showed earlier with the kids, I work with a lot of youth, so I'm a debate coach. I also am on the board of trustees for Tulsa Table, so I say that to say that this community is a great place to come and join a community, not just say you're in a community, but join a community, have impact. And I thank you guys for always welcoming me, always smiling. As I walked in here today, I'll be honest with you, growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, coming to a room like this, I would have been met with, not many friendly faces and very bad experiences. But coming in here today, I've seen that things have changed, and I really enjoy meeting you guys, and I enjoy being in this community. And me and my wife are here to stay. She works at the Vista at the Boathouse. She's one of the culinary leads. So if you ever eaten at the Gathering Place, my wife, she got a job here. She couldn't get that job, and she went to culinary school in California. She could never get that job, so she came to Tulsa. She got it, and she opened up her own business in September, doing charcuterie boards and crudité and things like that. It's called Curds and Whey Gourmet. So we're very excited to be here. We will stay in Tulsa, Aaron. We're going to have our first kid here next year. She's not pregnant yet, but that's our plan. But thank you very much.
My word, doesn't that just energize you? How exciting. Aaron, thank you for what you're doing. This is great. And Taylor and Oboom, and Aaron for that matter, I just want you to know that Rotary is a resource for you and for any of your friends in Tulsa Remote. It sounds like you guys are already plugged in very well, but I want you to know that this room is full of a lot of the business leaders in Tulsa. And so if you're looking for a way to give back or just business network, please come back and have lunch on me. And we'd love to have you as members, but also we just love to have you come visit us a few times, see what we're about. And then even if it's not for you, you'll know what we have and you can help direct people here as well. I want you to be able to have any resource that you need, and there are a lot of them in this room, and happy to give. And on that note, I know I can count on a couple of you. Will you make sure and come and see these gentlemen and make sure and take them to lunch or coffee or something and see how you can help them plug into the community? We're really proud and excited and humbled that you would choose Tulsa, and I think you made a great choice. So, on that note, as for our guests, we do give a speaker gift, but in lieu of a traditional speaker gift, we always like to give a book to our partner school in education, which is Celia Clinton Elementary, and we give it on behalf of Aaron today, and he has signed the book for the students. In closing, Rotarians, you are kind, you are generous, and you are agents of change. Now go change the world.